Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the Hoka Mach X2 and the Nike Zoomfly 6. So the Mach X2 and the Zoomfly 6 are both plated training shoes that are designed to be used either in partnership with a carbon plate racing shoe or as racing/training shoes themselves. Both of these models are significant improvements on the previous versions of the shoe, in my opinion, and both are very much among my favourite shoes of the year, put them both in my top 5 running shoes of 2024 because I've really enjoyed spending a lot of time in both of these shoes, but there are certainly differences between them that might make them suitable to different runners. The Zoomfly costs £155 in the UK, $170 in the US. The Mach X2 is a little bit more expensive. It's £170 in the UK and then $190 in the US. Mach X2 is a slightly lighter shoe at 255 grams or 9 ounces in the UK 9, whereas the Zoomfly is 266 grams or 9.4 ounces in the UK 9. The Zoomfly has an 8mm drop and a stack height of 42mm at the heel, 34mm at the forefoot, whereas Mach X2 has a 5mm drop, a stack height of 44mm at the heel and 39 at the forefoot in the men's shoe, and then 42mm at the heel, 37 at the forefoot in the women's. When it comes to the design of the two shoes, they've both got dual density midsoles with top layers made from PEBA-based foam, so you've got that PEBA-based layer over an EVA layer on the Hoka Mach X2, and in between them you have a Pebax plate that has wings at the forefoot to add a bit more stability there. You've got a very clear rocker geometry, lots of cutouts, like it's a very aggressive design to the shoe that is certainly reminiscent of racing shoes like the Cielo X1 in Hoka's range. You've got a very lightweight woven upper, not very much padding at all around the heel or on the tongue, again very racy feeling upper, and then you've got rubber on the outsole covering key stuff around the forefoot and heel, but there's lots of cutouts, there's lots of exposed foam. It's all designed to really reduce weight. On the Nike, you've got a slightly more relaxed feeling shoe, certainly around the upper. You've got this 2-layer woven mesh at the front there, quite a lot of padding at the back, a fair bit of structure as well, like it's much more of a training shoe style upper compared to the racy one you get on the Hoka. Then you've got dual density midsole, like I say, with a top layer that's Nike's Zoom X foam. This is not the recycled version, this is the fresh Zoom X foam over a full length carbon plate, and then the bottom layer is SR02 carrier foam. Now, with the carbon plate in the Zoomfly, it's a little bit more flexible than the ones on their racing shoes. So you see you almost got a similar amount of flex to the Pebax plate on the Hoka. So even though it's carbon, it's not necessarily quite as stiff as a full racing shoe, which is what you want in a shoe that's designed to be used for training as well. And then you've got a rubber outsole with kind of the waffle pattern that you see on lots of Nike shoes. Pretty good coverage on the forefoot. A couple of bits at the heel there. Like neither shoe has loads of outsole coverage, but both have actually been pretty good for grip for me, and I've not seen any kind of wear and tear yet. When it comes to fit of the two shoes, I've got a UK 9 in both. With Hoka, that's a US 9.5. With Nike, it's a US 10. It's the size I've used for both Hoka and Nike across their shoes for many years, and both of these shoes do fit me well in my normal size. The Mach X2 is a narrower shoe, but you can get it in a couple of different widths. The Zoomfly 6 has a little bit more kind of tightness around the toes than some Nike shoes, I'd say. It's not as roomy as the more cushioned shoes like the Pegasus or something like that, but I do think there's enough room there. Sticking to your normal size is probably the way to go, and that's the case with both shoes. I do think you should stick to your regular size. Definitely a difference in fit around the heel. You've got much more padding, a bit more structure around the back of the Nike. It's got a much more comfortable step-in feel when it comes to the fit, whereas the Hoka has that very stripped-back design. Like, I've heel locked the shoe. I haven't actually had any major problems with the heel myself on the shoe, but lots of people have. It can irritate or rub the heel a bit. I think with the next version, coming out next year, Hoka's going to put a more padded heel design on the Mach X3, but for now, it's a little bit of a worry point with the shoe for sure. Like I said, I haven't had any major problems myself, but lots of people have, and you do get a more comfortable fit around the heel with the Nike for sure. On to the run test then, and these are two shoes that I've really enjoyed running in this year. I've used both of them for a really wide variety of marathon training runs, like some really testing sessions, you kind of workouts on double days, long hard runs, and also a fair bit of easy running as well. I do think versatility is a big strength for both of these shoes. They very much fit the bill in terms of that super trainer category as a shoes that can do a little bit of everything. They have the pace for your faster runs. You could even use them potentially for racing if you're not using full carbon shoes, but you can also ease back and run nice and slowly with them if you want to. Mach X2 was the first of the two shoes I tested, and it was a really enjoyable shoe to run in. Like I say, I didn't really get on that well with the original Mach X. I found it just an okay shoe, but just not that fast, and didn't really feel like a super trainer to me. The Mach X2 certainly is. I think it's the fastest super trainer out there. Really can step in for a carbon shoe when it comes to really hard sessions or even races. You've got very aggressive rocker and ride that really punches you forward off the increased stack of PEBA foam you have in this version compared to the previous model, and yeah, it just feels really fast. And then I do find you can ease back and run slowly in the shoe. I do think it has that kind of range. Like when I was first using it, I took it away on holiday, and I did enjoy just running pretty easy in this shoe. It does have a little bit more push to it to try and get you forward to start running faster than the Nike. It's not necessarily the most relaxed shoe out there, especially with that upper, which isn't, like I say, the most comfortable for just relaxed, easy runs. But I do think you can do pretty much anything in this shoe, and then it really does have that top end speed. Like I said, I've done some really horrible sessions in the shoe on the track, on the road, where I would normally start to lean towards using a full carbon racing shoe, and the Mach X2 has really delivered on those runs. And then the Zoomfly 6 for sure has a more easygoing ride than the Mach X2. Like from the moment you pull it on, it's a much more easy shoe to get on and lace up, and then you can just cruise very slowly in it. But I have found that it's really got that top end pace as well, more so than I expected. Like when I pulled it on, it felt pretty good. I thought it was going to be a pretty nice kind of general daily trainer with a bit of speed, but actually I have done some nasty runs in the shoe, gone down the track, done 10 times 1 mile reps, I've done like a steady 90-minute run where I went through the half marathon mark in like 1:15, and it's just felt really good throughout. Has a more of a bouncy ride than the Hoka. It hasn't got so much of a rocker. Like it's not quite as traditional and slappy as lots of Nike shoes with very high drops like the Pegasus, but it isn't really a very rockered shoe, but it feels quite smooth and soft underfoot. You've got loads of cushioning there, and both of these shoes have big stacks of cushioning under the forefoot in particular, so they're kind of comfortable over any distance. And then the Zoomfly does give you quite a lot of propulsion off the front of the shoe there, kind of more so than you sometimes feel. Like with the Mach X2, you can really feel the speed, but the Zoomfly, the speed is there, but it's not quite as aggressive feeling underfoot. When it comes to really fast paces, like I have gone up to faster race paces in both these shoes. Like the Zoomfly 6 doesn't feel quite as good as the Mach to me. Like it doesn't feel heavy per se, but it just feels quite big on the foot, and feels more like kind of a bounding shoe that might work well maybe for people who have more of a loping stride than me. But as quite a high cadence shuffly runner, I think the Mach X2 feels a bit better. It feels more nimble and aggressive. It feels like it's turning my feet over a little bit more easily. And when it comes to those really fast paces, like I say, often when I might lean towards using a carbon shoe even in training for those really hard sessions, the Mach X2 does those better than the Zoomfly, I would say. When it comes to maybe looking at holding a pace over a longer distance, doing an easier steady long run, progression runs, that kind of thing, I think the Zoomfly's more relaxed ride is preferable, and it's certainly that more relaxed fit is a big plus when it comes to daily training as well. Did a short run in both of these shoes at the same time. The first thing that I noticed was how much harder it was to get the Hoka on and laced up compared to the Nike. Like I say, it's got a really dialed in fit. You've got to adjust it, get it just right to really hold your foot in place without irritating the top of your foot with the laces or worrying about the heel design. The Nike just slips on like a very relaxed daily trainer. And then when you come to the run itself, you can definitely feel more of a tip forward feeling from the Hoka. The rocker's really noticeable even at easy paces, and when you get up to speed, you can really feel that fast turnover and that punchy pace from the Hoka. It gives you a little bit more off the toes, I'd say, than the Nike, which feels similar at all paces and feels good at all paces, and it still works as a speed shoe like I've been talking about, but you definitely feel that speed a bit more in the Hoka for sure, and get that more kind of thrusting forward feeling from the design and the geometry of the shoe. Verdict is that the Hoka Mach X2 and the Nike Zoomfly 6 are both excellent super trainers that you can use for a really wide variety of training runs, and also to step in as racing shoes for sure. I'd say the Mach X2 is the faster of the two, as I've been talking about. It's the one that I think I would go for if I was looking at a racing shoe or a shoe to use predominantly for very fast sessions, your fastest sessions each week. I think the Mach X2 does those a little bit better. But then the Nike is a more comfortable shoe, a more relaxed ride, and a better option I think for general daily training while still having a fair bit of speed. So if you are looking for something that's going to be picking up a lot of miles in your week each week, I think the Zoomfly 6 probably has a bit of an edge there, because it's just an easier shoe to get on with in terms of the fit and the ride being comfortable and really good at easy paces. I like the Mach X2 at easy paces, but that might not be the case for everyone. I think it has got a more aggressive feeling ride underfoot. I think Nike might also be a tad more stable when it comes to that kind of thing. It's also a little bit cheaper, so that's obviously a bonus as well. Overall, I do prefer the Hoka Mach X2 myself. I think it's pretty much my favourite shoe of the year so far, but a lot of that comes down to the fact that I quite like the feeling in easy paces, which I'm not sure everyone will, and I also get on with the fit of the shoe. So the heel design will obviously be a big no-no for some people, and that will immediately make the Zoomfly 6 a better option, but I've got on with it fine. Like I say, the ride works for me at a wide range of paces. I really like the fact that it's got that impressive top-end speed, so it'll be my pick. But the Zoomfly 6, probably an easier shoe for the majority of runners to get on with, still very fast, a little bit cheaper as well, so certainly a case for both of these shoes. That's our comparison of the Mach X2 and the Zoomfly 6. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.